welcome to episode 12 of the Midnight Dyery podcast. My name is Gemma and I am the host of this podcast, the dyer, tutor and designer behind the Midnight Dyery, my hand-dyed yarns company, from which this channel and podcast take their name. This is my weekly chat, and 3 weeks running, I'm getting there, about all the things I've been up to creatively, as well as a little bit of behind the scenes glimpses at life at the Midnight Dyery. This time I'm going to talk to you a little bit about pyrography, which is the art of basically burning things, and I have a finished object to show. And and future plans. I want to talk to you about future plans, because when one casts something off, one immediately wants to cast on all the things. And I know that I'm talking to people who truly understand how that feels. Anyway, welcome. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for joining me today, for giving me a shot. You're totally welcome here. Everyone's welcome. There are lots of ways you can get involved as well in the Midnight Dyery and all the other bits. All the information is just down there in the description box. Sometimes it's a down arrow, sometimes it's read more. Just have a flick through and you'll see all the links there. I am on Instagram. I am on Ravelry, but I'm not particularly active there. And we do have a lovely Facebook group, the Midnight Makers. And yes, some make-alongs going on as well. So there's lots for you to get involved with. Is another absolutely gloriously sunny day. So I'm going to get straight on and talk about my finished object, because right now, on one of the hottest days of the year that we've had so far, I'm wearing four layers on my top. No. 3. I'm wearing 3, or technically 4 layers on my top half, and I could do without wearing quite so many. For those of you who don't know, I'm based in Kent, which is in the southeast of England. We benefit from having some of the warmer weather in the UK, although it does get quite grey and damp as well. Right now I would quite appreciate some rain. But anyway, talking about rain, this is called Purple Rain, the colourway, and I have finished my Birdwatcher tee. I was talking to you just last week and saying, I don't know how quickly I'll finish this. I'm not going to make any promises. And what do you know, I've finished it. So the pattern is called Birdwatcher. It is by Casa Pinker. I'll flash a picture up here of what it looks like on her, or on her model. I'm not sure. And I have used my Merino Tencel yarn, which is a 4-ply yarn, 50% superwash merino, which is resin treated, from a non-mulesing source, so there's no cruelty to the merino sheep, and 50% tencel, which is crushed wood pulp. So it's sustainable, and it's silky, and it's soft, and it's bouncy, and I love it. So let me stand up and talk to you a little bit about this. So here we are. This is the Birdwatcher tee. I have not alternated skeins. It is a variegated yarn. You can see here it's kind of striped, I guess, because I was working in the round. And then here, working back and forth, it's a bit more pooly. But I really like the effect. So it comes to just about where the top of my jeans would be, which is a really nice fit. As you can see, it doesn't really fit me at the moment. I thought if I got it finished quick enough, it would fit me at least for a little while. However, folks, that is not to be. So it's got this lovely lace detail here, which is a bit of a mix of feather and fan, or old shale stitch, except for without the yarn over, so you don't get the ools that you would normally get in lace. You get a little bit here, which is quite nice. It looks like I've gone wrong on the last row there. Okay, don't look too close. It's got a kind of slash neckline here, and the sleeves are just finished with a little bit of garter stitch. There's a 3-needle bind off. It's really nice. It's worked bottom up, and the pattern for my size, I thought I would need 3 skeins of my Merino Tencel. Merino Tencel only has 333 meters per 100 gram hank, which is less by, nearly 100 meters on some other merino nylon 4-plies. So, but yeah, that's it. I'm quite pleased with it. I have had a few blocking mishaps. I don't know if you can see, I've got a pointy out bit here, and if you look here, some of my bits are a little bit pointier. Let's tip you down a little bit. There we are. This is a little bit pointier. They're not all even. So I will talk to you about my blocking. Oh, you can really see it here now, can't you? I should have taken the pins out much earlier. Instead, it's held the shape I was trying to block it to. Yeah, so that's fun. Anyway, let me sit down and talk to you a bit more about it. No idea if this is the same position I was in. So yeah, I really like it. However, it's not for me. I don't usually go for high necklines like this. I prefer something scooped or a bit lower. I'm quite my build is kind of boxy, if that makes sense, and I feel more comfortable in a scoop neck. This is quite a boxy t-shirt, but it hasn't got much in the way of positive ease. I mean, partly that is my fault. I could have chosen a slightly bigger size, but I was really worried about not having enough yarn. I definitely wanted a garment that I could get out of my 3 skeins of Purple Rain that I had in stock. As it happens, this only took 2. I did get gauge, so I'm really not quite sure what happened there, whether it's just the calculations that have been made about how much yarn to need, whether it's just approximate and best guess, I don't know. But yeah, I really like it. It's I like so much about it, but as I finished it and sewed it up, I thought this is going to be another weekender. And I do like my weekender. I think the reason I like my weekender more than I like this, despite the fact that that neckline really is up here, which I struggle with because I can feel it across my neck. It's not itchy at all. It's just having something there is quite uncomfortable. But this isn't as oversized and boxy. And so I was thinking, well, in a few months, my shape will have changed again, or, you know, 6, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, my shape will have changed again, and I might like it a bit better. But then I realised at that point, it becomes impractical. So although I absolutely am thrilled with the finished product, I think it's really neat. The stitching is really neat. The merino tencel just lends itself. I'm looking at the camera trying to get the lighting right for you. There we are. The merino tencel just lends itself to really beautiful stitch definition. And although I absolutely love it, I'm going to give this to a friend. She wants to do a swap, so to make me something, or, you know, I'm sure we'll come to some sort of arrangement, but she's actually the same bust size as me, it transpires, and she really likes it and quite often wears high-necked things, and they really suit her. And I just think, as much as I love this, this isn't something that needs a place in my wardrobe. I am very proud of having made it, and I definitely want another garment in my merino tencel yarn. So good news for you folks, that means I'll be dyeing some more. But I think I can see me not reaching to wear this, and I certainly won't be able to wear it for a long, long time anyway. So yeah, decision made. It's going to go to my lovely friend Sophie, who is the A Spring Snowflake podcast. And who incidentally is the designer for my new cozy box that is shipping out in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's it. And it's so soft. It's so soft, and it's just, oh, wonderful next to skin and lovely to knit with, and it's not for me. I will find something. I will find a garment. I will probably dye up more of a colourway more deliberately so that I definitely have enough yarn, and do something. Do you know what's interesting? I really want the no frills sweater. Caroline Dunderknit has done a couple of those, and again they really suit her. But again, it's a slightly rounder neck, that one, but it is high necked, and I'm just thinking, am I even going to wear that? So I need to figure out my ideal sweater construction a bit more before I move on. I love all these colourwork yokes, but again, will I wear them? Maybe I'll make them just for the fun of making them, and we'll see each one as we go. Anyway, that's a whole lot of waffle. I have this much left of my second ball of yarn, plus a little 3 gram mini ball, because when I got to when I finished all the knitting and I'd done the 3 needle bind off, I only had 13 grams of yarn left. And so I thought, well, do I just pick up and crochet around the armholes, or do I go for it and play yarn chicken and hope I win? So what I did was I divided, because knowing this yarn's heavier as well, 13.5 grams isn't going to go quite as far as a lighter yarn would. I don't mean lighter as in whether it's 3-ply, 4-ply. I mean lighter as in the actual fibre itself is heavier in merino tencel than a merino nylon. So the same weight won't necessarily go, like in grams, won't necessarily go as far. So what I did was I got my scales out and I split them into 2 6.5 gram balls. And luckily I did the first one with ease and had 3 grams left over. And this is from the second one. So I'm quite pleased with that. But look, even the ends are woven in. I did actually take pictures. And I think I've put them on the newsletter, which clearly show the ends not woven in, but just for you guys, I have actually woven them in. It could also have something to do with the fact that I'm going to send this to Sophie, and I don't think she's got quite the same devil-may-care attitude about tucking her ends into her sleeves so she can wear her garments that I do. Right, I'm going to strip off, not literally, because I'm melting. So what else to tell you about that pattern? I found it really easy to use. I loved learning the German short rows. I will link the tutorial from Pearl Soho down below again, like I did last time. If I forget, go and look at last week's episode because the link is on there. With washing and blocking, it blocked out beautifully. It could almost have got away with not being washed and blocked. I just wanted to see if I could give it that bit more length, that bit more width. Just to see if it would suit me, because when I first did it, it was a bit tighter and a bit shorter. But what I've learned, because I'm not a blocker of garments, I sometimes steam block, but I don't generally, when I finish making something, wash and block it properly like you're meant to. If I do wash it, I just tend to squeeze it between towels, give it a squeeze, maybe stamp on it a little bit or tread on it. I've got a video about how to care for your knits, which I will link just down below, and I will try and put a card up here for you. It's a 2-minute video on how I care for my hand knits. I love soak because it is a rinse-free wool wash, so you don't have to worry about it. So I soaked this. You're only meant to soak it for 15 minutes. I actually took it to work because I thought I could have it in the courtyard at work, at the yarn shop I work at, drying in the sunshine. And I knew most of my blocking mats are actually at work from things we were doing at work. So I thought, well, I'll take it there. Managed to forget that I had it in the sink, and I was like, oh my goodness. I had visions of the yarn bleeding, of it just going weird, but no, it was fine. And I pinned it out on the floor of the shop. And what I didn't do was take the pins out quick enough, or possibly put enough pins in. I think I used T-pins, and I think what I should have used is like the comb pins. So they're like a handle sort of that big with lots of little prongs coming down. Let's see if I can put a picture up. I haven't got any of those, but I think that's going to be my next investment for garment making. So what I've ended up with, I don't know if it will still, I'll have to turn it right way in. I've turned it inside out when I took it off just then. Hang on. I've still got 3 layers on technically. Need to take the dress off as well soon. But yeah. Oh yeah, you might be able to see here the kind of bumps. There's one there. And there's one there. And the bumps are where I left the pins in too long and it stayed. Oh, it's happened again that side as well. You can see it's bumpy. And also there are some really quite pointy points at the bottom. So yeah, not my finest hour when it comes to blocking. Oh dear. However, the stitches have just come up so neat, and it's really helped uncrinkle this lace as well. Look at that. That is just ridiculous. It's like a random nipple on my hemline. I should probably take that bit out. But yeah, so I mean, technically that one in the middle there should also be proud, and then it wouldn't look so bad. But now I've got little pussycat ears going on. Right, So that is my finished object. So looks rather nice there, doesn't it? Back in a mo, just got to do file transfer. Well, hello, and now a costume change. I've put on a different work in progress. I've finally liberated myself from the birdwatcher tee and the dress that I was wearing over which the model said birdwatcher tee, and I've swapped it for the Ivy Tunic. Again, I'll put a picture here for you so you can see what it should look like. This was actually due to be finished by today, but I had a couple of hospital visits and some other things going on, and Maria had very kindly already said, if you don't finish on time, don't worry. Personally, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself because I was determined for this to be a test knit that I finished on time. But I'm very, very close. As you can see, I haven't done the crochet edging around the sleeves yet, but that will make the sleeves nice cap sleeves, or around the neckline. And again, that will just sharpen it up beautifully. So where have I got to? I have got about 22 inches done, I think, which means 5 inches to go, or 23 inches and 4 inches to go, one of the two. So I'm on, I think this is ball number 4. Let me stand up and show you. So it is no longer a crop top. It just isn't quite a tunic. Right now it is hitting where the top of my jeans would be. So just over. But you can see even with pip growing quite nicely, I've got lots and lots of room in there, which feels absolutely great. So the plan is it should come, tiptoes, to about here. Hopefully. I might actually do it a little bit longer. I'll try it on again in a bit and see. So yeah, there's the progress on that. I'm not going to sit and knit with you a while this time because it involves taking this off and putting it back on one needle. Excuse me. I've actually got it on 2 needles at the moment so I can model it for you. But I just love it. Again, it's so soft. This is my own yarn, which is a Pima Cotton DK. And it's very squishy, very bouncy, feels very, very light and breathable. I do not mind wearing this at the moment in the heat of the summer. I'm really looking forward to starting the crochet. Still not sure how many balls of this yarn I'm going to use. I think I will get all the length I need out of this one ball, which means the 5th ball will be where I start the crochet. I mean, I think whichever happens first, if I finish this ball and it's not long enough, I will start another. But if I reach the desired measurement by the designer and I've got more yarn left, I will finish the ball because I would like it to be quite long. Yeah, but I'm hoping to, wherever I've got to, I'm hoping to start the crochet. I'm going to start the crochet at the end of this ball, basically. All that to say, I'm going to start the crochet at the end of this ball. This is the first project I've done that combines both knitting and crochet. I would absolutely love to know if you have done this before, combined the 2 disciplines, and what the results were, what you liked or disliked about it. Have you got any patterns that you can recommend to me? So that's it really for creative content. I spent Sunday I must stop turning around. I spent Sunday exclusively working on this. Pretty much when I got up, I did 2 hours on my 100-day project. I have not touched it since. I've been quite uncomfortable with backache and also neck ache, and hunching over my embroidery frame is a little bit tricky, but I do intend to put some time in on it tomorrow. But the rest of the time I really wanted to work on my Ivy Tunic, so I really wanted to get that finished. But Sunday I took off and worked on this, and I was so close to getting it, I've looked away again, sorry. I was so close to getting it finished that I actually stayed up really, really late. Anyway, glorious sunshine outside still, which is nice. I just keep stroking this. I'm gonna stop turning around, Gemma. I am gonna be sad not to have this to stroke when it goes to Sophie, but yeah. So anyway, Sunday I worked exclusively on this. The rest of my knitting time has been exclusively on this, but as I said, knitting time interrupted. So no more progress on Pip's jumper or my brother's baby blanket. What I do have to show you though future knitting plans. This is bag by So Kanjo, who is the maker, it's got thread on it, sorry, who is the maker who made, maker who created the Perth project bag that I showed you last week. This one was a gift for me because she's just darling, and she's also gifted me 2 bags for podcast prizes. I don't know how many skeins, I think 15, but I've got full balls of yarn in here as well. So first up, this one. I rescued this skein of Truly Hooked. It was the last one left before we went into another 3-month lockdown, and at the shop I run, and so we sent Verity's yarn back to her, and I bought this one and kept it. So this is Monsters Inc. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Monsters Inc., but it's just the perfect colours for the kid and the 2 monsters, and I love it. And yeah, so it's 78% kid mohair and 28% silk. Now, 420 metres per 100 grams. What am I going to do with this, you might be asking? Well, the lovely Inga, who is Knitting Traditions, or she's, Knitting Traditions podcast, I mentioned last week that I have been watching, and since I last spoke to you, I have gone through and finished. I've caught up entirely with her podcast. I thoroughly enjoyed every moment, and have also found myself inspired. So this is going to be I can't pronounce it, ranunculus. I believe it's called the ranunculus top. I'll put a picture here. It's kind of meant to be a one size fits all, and technically I'm in the larger bust sizes. She did do the designer, whose name I'll put here, did do a kind of larger bust size adjustment, but she doesn't actually have any yarn requirements for it, which I found quite disappointing. I found it quite disappointing that as a 42-inch bust, I fell into the kind of category. I don't mean disappointing for me because I don't want to be considered to have a larger bust. I mean, it's disappointing because I know that I'm around about average, and so that meant that prior to that, there's a whole load of people that were missed out. Having said that, it's fantastic that the designer has gone back and is sorting it. I don't know what she intends to do about yarn requirements. However, they are meant to be worn with 35 to 45 centimetres of positive ease, which, where is my tape measure? Let's see what 35 to 45 centimetres is in inches. All right, 35 centimetres is almost 14 inches of positive ease. I don't need 14 inches positive ease, so I'm actually going to stick to one of the smaller sizes where it does say how much yarn you need, and in theory I can get it out of one of these, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be a nice loose floaty thing to wear over vest tops in summer, and it's just going to be gorgeous. So I'm going to spend some time later watching Inga's latest podcast, which has just dropped while I've been recording this, episode 22. I will be winding this, and this counts for her stash along, I think she's calling it, her make along, because I've had this since 2020. So finally I can enter something. Now, I really shouldn't cast it on because I have other things to finish, but I really want to cast it on, and I think it'll be really fast, and I know I'm not as fast a knitter as her, but I'm getting quite good. So, future knitting plans number 2. You may remember that last year I made one of my honorary nephews, a jumper, a hoodie for his birthday, and he was incredibly knitworthy. I've got some fab pictures. I'll pop another one up here of him being very proud, being 5 in his new jumper. And someone stopped him in the street, or they met someone, I can't quite remember how it came about, but anyway, someone said to him, "I really like your jumper," and he said, "Thank you. It was made for me, not bought from a shop. It was made for me." And I was just like, oh, you're the best child. You win at being a child. You win at being knitworthy, and I love you. I love him anyway. He's adorable, but still. So the little man in question turned 6 last week. And I was, as you know, I had no knitting mojo for a good 2 or 3 months. And then I had a test knit to do. And so casting on his jumper in time for his birthday was not going to be a thing. However, what I did do was I sent him a picture of the jumper I've chosen for him. And I'm actually going to do the version with the rainbow, which this little girl is wearing here in this picture. But instead of cream, grey. So this is West Yorkshire Spinner Colour Lab. It is 100% British wool. It can be machine washed, but it doesn't feel like superwash yarn. I don't think it is, but yet it can be machine washed, so it must be. But it does feel quite, it feels rustic when you work with it, but once you've washed it, it softens right up. My friend made 2 little cardigans for her granddaughters out of it, and they are quite sensitive to yarn, but that is just going to look fabulous, isn't it? And his mum showed him the picture of the jumper I'd chosen for him, the new hoodie, and he's thrilled with it. But this one's slightly different because this one has sleeves. So I figure if he sent a picture of it and of the yarn for his birthday, then I can work on it and send it to him for when it starts to get a little bit cooler. So I'm hoping he will have it for September, and he's got that to look forward to. So that is that. The final future project is one that actually has been, and again, this is a stash down project, is one that has been in the making, in the planning for quite some time. It's a colourwork jumper from the West Yorkshire Spinners double knitting book. I'll put a picture of the jumper in question here. And my friend Phil is a gardener, and he really wanted the jumper. And so we decided to do a skill swap. So I'm making him the jumper, and he in return is going to give me a day of work in my garden. You could argue that he's getting the better deal there because it takes so many hours to do this, but I've tried with my garden. I love my garden. I'm just not, I need help. I really need help. And ultimately I will get the joy of the garden, or the kickstart of the garden, for a lot longer. So I'm using the colours that it showed in the book. So again, this West Yorkshire Spinners pure wool. It is machine washable, 100% Shetland Islands wool. It doesn't say it's superwash. It's made in association with Jameson and Smith of Scotland, of Shetland. And yeah, it's a Yorkshire based yarn company, and it's just very exciting. So that's got to be cast on. So yeah, three garments to do. I really should finish some other things first. Obviously the Ivy Tunic is top of the list, and I want to finish my Stephen West shawl, and I need to finish this baby blanket for my brother. And I've also got, but I don't have it here, and I'll talk about it next time, a very special pattern that my mum started to knit for me 30 years ago. Well, she started to knit it for me before I was born and just finished it when I was 30, and she actually finished it around about the time my daughter was born and gave it to my daughter. And so I want to make one for Lara's brother or sister. My mum has actually given me the pattern now, and I know what yarn I want to use, so I've got that to cast on as well. In addition, I've got the playground socks to grade and publish, the Penelope mitts and the new leaves mitts are going to be published on my PayHip store next week. Oh goodness, so much going on. What else have I been up to? So in Midnight Dyery land, I am starting the cozy boxes for June. I keep sorry. And I recorded this time for you a little bit of footage of me doing some pyrography. So I'll put that in here if it's any good. I haven't actually looked at it back yet, but this is the coaster from March's cozy box, because obviously the cozy box for June is still a surprise. I have seen the artwork created by Lisa Green Designs for this month's cozy box, and it is amazing. It is totally not what I expected, but I love it. It really tells a story. Haven't seen the stitch markers from Nicola yet, and haven't heard back from from Cecilia about the tea, but I know what the tea will be, and it is very nice tea. Yeah, and I'll be dyeing the yarn in the next week or so, and the crochet pattern is stunning, and the knitting pattern is nearly stunning. It's on its way. So yeah, I've got no business casting this on, really. I need to finish some jobs first, but I would like something nice to talk to you about next week. So yeah, I mean, it's been a shorter episode this week. I hope you've enjoyed spending a little bit of time with me. I hope you are still managed to knit despite the heat wherever you are. Down in the south of England, it's been getting incredibly hot. Magnus has been struggling a little bit, it's safe to say. Oh, and don't forget, our crochet along is starting on the 15th of June, which is next Tuesday. So it will have started by the time I record next week's podcast, I think, unless I get lots and lots of knitting done in the next few days and record for you on Sunday or Monday afternoon. So we shall see. We shall see. Yeah. And before wrapping things up, I want to talk a little bit about yarn festivals. So this weekend is the Wool Monty Show, this weekend coming. I am not going to be taking part because I haven't been able to dye the yarn for obvious reasons, but I wish them all the very best for their virtual show, and I cannot wait to be a part of it, hopefully in 2022 when we can all be back together. In other show news, there's been a very exciting development with Perth Festival of Yarn, which again, as you know, is another show with a very special place in my heart, and that is that Eva, the lovely festival director, has had a stroke of pure genius. It can only be described as pure genius. One of these things that just comes to you, ping, and it's wonderful. And what she's done is produced a Scottish yarn festival in a box. So for a set fee, I believe it's £240. I could be wrong. Please check the website and Perth Festival of Yarn's information. Don't quote me on anything other than the fact that this is a really, really good idea and you're not going to want to miss it. Basically, you get a number of skeins of yarn curated by Eva from festival vendors, and you can get that shipped to you. Shipped to there's a US option and a UK option, and I believe that you can have one of Joe's Perth exclusive bags as an add-on as well. I will just show that to you again in case you have forgotten it. So there we are. Ah, it's huge and wonderful. So yeah. I will not be at the festival this year for obvious reasons, but again, I wish Eva and everyone taking part all the luck in the world, and do go and check out this festival in a box, because it's a brilliant idea. And another option as well that she's bringing is the Hasty Back mini skein collection. She has reached out, instead of reaching out to one dyer who can't join the festival physically this year, she's reached out to 10 Scottish dyers. I believe they're all based in Scotland. Oh God, I should have made notes. And they have created exclusive mini skeins for around the theme of Hasty Back, which means hurry back to us in well, it's not in Scottish, it's just a Scottish phrase, really. Hasty back, hurry up back here. And that is another thing well worth checking out as well. So yeah, that's it really. It's totally worth me giving both of those festivals a shout out, because they have done so much for me and my little business, giving me an opportunity to vend. They were my first festivals, and I think people forget maybe that festivals themselves are a business, but also in supporting the festivals, you are supporting all the little businesses. Little, that sounds really diminutive. All the independent businesses that take part in those festivals as well. So yeah, I just wanted to give those two a shout out, and especially highlight the Festival in a Box option for Perth Festival of Yarn. Do go and check it out on their website. I will put the links to everything I've talked about just down there. Right, and without further ado, that is that for this week. Short and sweet. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, rest of week, and I will see you very, very soon. Have lots of knitting, lots of sunshine. Don't forget the sunscreen. Take care. Bye.